how to create your own fighting style. Now, this is interesting topic in that in order to create your own style, traditionally you first learn some existing style or several styles, and then in some cases those styles get merged into your own style, or you only pick and choose. You take some things from each style and then combine those to make your own. So this has been happening all over the world. It's not unique to any place, and makes a lot of sense, because if you learn something, then pretty much you can apply that, and you know that how it goes. But there is this other way as well, that you can learn the generic use of the sword techniques, and then one more gate here, over here, so it's to the sea. So if you learn the generic sword movements, then from there you can create really nicely your own style, because you can only pick and choose then from the generic palette what is available. You can take stuff from there, and then you can just select. It's really hot today here, so it's Finland, like plus 30. What's going on? Climate change, I don't know. Okay, but what is your style made out of? It's made out of just a few things. So if we're thinking about single sword fighting, you need to have your movement, that is stepping, so different directions how you are going to move. And then of course what you need to also have is how do you strike with the sword. So it depends a lot what you want to do, and then you have the tactical application in that what kind of tactics do you want to use. So what we could do is to try to create a style just from these few components, stepping, how to strike. Of course you could include thrusting as well, although I see those pretty much the same, so every strike can be a thrust as well. But we could try to do that one time to actually show how it's done. And that's how I would do it. It's fun and nice to learn new styles, sure. But you are still stuck then with those styles, and if those are the only options you are given, I don't think you ever see the full picture. Because sword fighting is really simple, in fact. It is not complicated. The basics are super simple, and every style has the same basics, but then there is some flavor or seasoning on top, which makes some style do things differently from other style. But if you look into that, the underlying principles are exactly the same. And there are only so many ways to step, only so many ways to strike with the sword, only so many ways to thrust. And still it seems that we have this many different styles. For example, this is a question that for the longsword, we have the Lichtenauer tradition, the Fiore tradition, but there are hints like to other longsword styles, maybe older English, maybe other German styles. We don't have documentation about these, but it's mentioned that somebody is using wide cuts to scare their opponents, for example. So what are those? So I think those styles are the common styles that were using the basic techniques of sword or staff or stick or a war club or anything that's long and maybe pointy. And they were common. So then you were having for the nobles new styles which were designed to counter these common styles. So many of the common styles are lost. Pretty much because it was living tradition, somebody was teaching somebody, and when it was no longer needed, then it faded away. But can we reconstruct these? I think we can. If we go down to the simplest ways of using swords, then sure, those things might work really well. And the arming sword stuff I'm doing, it is one of the simplest methods I have found. The closest match is Kassane's military style. There is a manual about it where these strikes are described and the stepping is described. But could we do it with two-handed sword? Oh yes. So the information is out there. So I'm telling you this because I think that in order to make your own style, truly your own style, you need to understand the basic principles of stepping and using the sword. So once you have that, then you can do it. And then you can create infinite number of techniques or practices or plays, as it's said. But it's only if you really know what's going on there, because after all, it's you have only few basic techniques like a single step, single cut, and then the longer plays are just combinations of those. So there is nothing fancy really. So yeah, let's have a look at this in a bit more detail a little bit later.